Hi everyone, welcome to 10 with Tom. I am clearly not Tom, I am Jess, and you can tell because I don't have to wear a hat to hide how bad my hair is. So today I actually want to discuss something very serious that has come to my attention. It is divisive, it is wrong, it could even be called an abomination.
Dun, dun, dun.
It turns out, guys, that some people put the milk in to their teacup while the tea bag is still in there.
Sacrilege.
I know, I too am shocked and appalled because it's wrong, and everybody knows you put the tea bag in the hot water, you let it brew, you take the tea bag out, and then you put the milk in, okay?
Preach.
And so today, this is like a biblical intervention, and we are going to talk about the biblical way to make a really good cup of tea. So,
She brews.
it's in the Bible. This is what Jesus said. This is what Jesus said. Jesus said, people who don't know God and the way he works fuss over these things. But you know both God and how he works. Steep yourself. Steep yourself in God reality, God initiative, God provisions. You'll find all your everyday human concerns will be met. You see, there it is. How to make a cup of tea. Jesus said it. Steep yourself. To steep is to immerse, to soak, to infuse. And like a truly good cup of tea, we need to steep ourselves in God. The invitation of Jesus to steep ourselves. It's an invitation to stop hustling and hurrying. It's an invitation to bring our worries and our work, our concerns and our questions, the things that weigh heavy on our hearts, and to immerse ourselves into the presence of God. It's kind of this offer to drop ourselves into the warmth of God's presence without hustle and without hurry. You see, like a good cup of tea, our inner lives cannot be made well at pace. We're in a series on Sundays called How to Heal, and the truth is we cannot heal in a hurry. We cannot rush these things like we're rushing through a cup of tea. And some of us make tea like that. We kind of squeeze the tea bag up against the side and stir it really quickly and try to like rush the process. But as Jesus says, to steep ourselves in God's presence is this idea that our anxieties cannot be allayed with a quick dip into God's word. Our hearts cannot be healed with just kind of a dunk and gone again into God's presence. We need to steep ourselves. Now, if you look at the new, is it the other versions? We read the Message version earlier where Jesus says, steep yourself in God reality, God provision, and God initiative. There's another version, the Revised Standard Version. I love how the writer translates the original Greek. This is what he says. He says, do not keep striving for what you are to eat and what you are to drink, and do not keep worrying. For it is the nations of the world that strive after all these things. But your Father knows what you need. You see, to strive is the opposite of to steep. To strive is to struggle and to strain and to push and to kind of I don't know, when I think of striving, I think of someone overextending themselves. But if we steep ourselves in God instead of striving, we are not looking for a quick fix or a rapid response. Why? Because God knows. We steep ourselves in God's knowledge of what we need. And if we do that, and this is what I want you to remember, okay, like a good cup of tea. If we bring our worries to God, our needs, our hurts, and instead of striving, we steep ourselves, we may very well find this. The process is the provision. The actual process is the provision that we need. The very act of slowing down, of soaking in God, of breathing in His knowledge of us, His love for us, it so often meets the very needs we're striving to get met. And so I wonder today what your needs might be. Maybe you need a God reality. You need God's perspective on a situation, the way He sees it. Maybe you need a God initiative. You need God's startup instructions, next steps, like what to do. Maybe you need God provisions, where God is the inner and outer resource for your life. I pray that you would discover as you give up striving and start steeping, that sometimes the process is the provision for what you need. So you guys know, who live in South Africa, that tea is everything. If we are hungry, you just have a cup of tea. If you're tired, have a cup of tea. If you're excited at a birthday party, let's have a cup of tea, you know. Like if you're bored, I'll just have a cup of tea. Tea is the answer to every problem, okay? It is the solution. And so next time you're looking for an answer, next time you're looking for a solution, and you make yourself a nice cup of tea, may you stop and look into that mug and ask yourself, am I steeping or am I striving? And I pray that you would find that God's provision is in that very process. So here is to a great cup of tea. And now that you know how it should be made, the correct and proper way to make a cup of tea, may you go make great tea and spend great time with God.
It's not a good cup of tea unless it's been slurped.
Exactly.
Let's be honest, there has to be a slurp